What food world record do we think we could break? What is our favorite Marvel movie and series from this year? And will this be the biggest episode of the Toddcast in history? Well, we talk about all that and more on this episode of the Toddcast. Hello everyone and welcome to the Toddcast. As always, I'm your host, Todd McManus, and today is a very special episode, more special than any other episode for many different reasons, but we're about to get to those right now. First off, I'm going to introduce you to my guests. Yes, that's plural. First up, we are going to introduce, this episode wouldn't end without this guest right here. He holds the record for most appearances on the Toddcast, with this being his 11th appearance, and he was the first ever guest on the Toddcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Jaron Parks. Jaron, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Hold your applause. It's all right. We can clap later.
So, like I said, this is guests. This is the first ever three-man episode of a Toddcast, because introducing my second guest here, he holds the record for the longest episode of the Toddcast with around 2 hours and 10 minutes, and this is his 6th appearance on the Toddcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Mr. John Wright. John, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. Today might be the greatest day of my life.
It's a great day
wonderful.
Because not only are you two here, we are actually breaking the Toddcast multiverse right now with all of us being here. And also, even as excited as I am for this episode, boys, we're seeing Spider-Man No Way Home after this.
Like right after this.
So, for all of you listening, just to let you know, let you in on the scoops, we are going to be talking, doing our normal thing, and then towards closer to the end, we're going to stop recording, and I'll let you know when that happens. We're going to go see Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to come back, and we're going to give an official spoiler review. I know it's a Marvel movie, biggest Marvel movie really since Avengers Endgame, and I know you're not supposed to be spoiling it for like a week or two, but I said last week, spoiler review, saying it right now, and I'll say it a bunch later as well. So at the end, it'll be a spoiler review. But we're just going to go ahead and get into some normal conversation right now. What do you think?
Sounds good.
So, for some reason, I have this weird fascination with food world records. I've talked about it with a lot of people. I've asked a lot of people about it. I have a website saved on my Safari that is about world record food eating. And I wanted to ask both of you, out of all the foods that you've eaten throughout your lifetime, throughout your over 20 years of life, what food do you think that you could hold the world record for by eating the most amount of it in the least amount of time?
Fried chicken.
Like from where? Like home cooked or like...
You're talking chicken nuggets?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. I mean...
fried chicken is fried chicken.
Because I would think like nuggets...
Chicken wings.
Nuggets from Chick-fil-A would probably be easy.
Now,
they're small.
for like safety reasons, if I eat bone-in chicken as fast as I possibly could, I'll probably kill myself.
The only one would be like what are they, the drums you can just grab and like rake it off with your teeth all the way through.
I'm just imagining
with either part of the wings.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining me crunching down on a breast and all those little rib bones just... But yeah, for like safety's sake, I could tear up some Raising Cane's. A lot of Raising Cane's. Like,
Yeah.
they even have the big family platters you can get. So, I mean, it's already set up for me.
So, fried chicken, are you going with that or something else?
No. So if we just completely ignored the diabetes.
Yeah. Out of the question.
Yeah. I would either say sushi or jelly beans.
Oh.
Because I can.
And you are a jelly bean fanatic.
I can put away some sushi, but jelly beans, I don't know.
You could swallow them suckers whole.
Yeah, there's another level of eating when it comes to jelly beans. I can probably eat like 5 pounds of jelly beans, where I can eat like a half pound of steak, you know?
My goodness, you're going to have steam coming out of your insulin pump.
Oh, yeah.
Like an old train, just steam come out of it.
Same with sushi. Each sort of section of sushi is like 10 carbs. So if I eat like a roll of sushi, I'm already at like 100 carbs.
Yeah.
My goodness.
While each jelly bean is 1 carb. So
Yeah. And it's like if you didn't
10
have
sushis, 100 jelly beans.
Yeah, it's
you
like
know?
you got to do a few rolls or a jar of jelly beans.
But
So it's
I've
like,
been to an all-you-can-eat sushi buffet where they just bring out these massive platters of sushi, and I can put away like 3 platters of sushi. It's a massive amount of carbs. But I would say probably sushi.
Yeah.
If I was gonna pick,
because it's a few rolls or a jar, and it's like if you take the pump and the diabetes away, it's like you might die on it anyway with the amount you still
probably.
eat.
Well, what's your answer?
I'll just explode.
For me,
Yeah.
G's.
Cheese. What? I've never had cheese before.
No, I don't know, because it's like
cheese,
honest-
but it's got a certain
It's
topping on
gangster,
it.
Yeah.
It's gangster cheese.
Jeez, yeah. I don't know. Like before, I think I could honestly put away a unhealthy amount of Reese cups.
Oh gosh.
Like the peanut. Like I've had problems before where my stomach started killing me one day because you should never do the concoction of eating a bunch of Reese cups and drinking orange juice.
Ooh,
Oh.
never heard of that one.
Chocolate and orange don't go well together in the mouth or the stomach. Let's just say I had to be on the toilet for like an hour. So that was not healthy fun at all. But there's a whole list on this website called MajorLeagueEating.com. There's 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's, of course, the hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July.
Joey Chestnut?
That is Joey Chestnut. He broke that. He breaks his record by like 1 or 2 every year. So it's like he's got like, and they have a different championship belt for him just every year. So he's got like 10 of them now.
Wow.
Because that's just what he does, because he gets paid thousands of dollars like every time.
I'd hate to see what his toilet looks like.
And that's what a lot of them say is like after like a few, like 10 or 15 minutes, they just, all of them have to go throw up in the porta potty. They got them all ready just for them. There's like mayonnaise, which is nasty. We all hate
that's
mayonnaise,
absolutely
don't
I
we?
like
disgusting.
mayonnaise.
No.
You want to break the mayonnaise record?
Jesus.
I don't want to do that.
4 32-ounce bowls in 8 minutes?
Oh
Gosh.
my God.
That just gives me shivers.
That's like, that's like stuff the devil would do. Like,
It is.
mayonnaise is not good. It's terrible. You hate mayonnaise, and
With a
you're
passion.
okay with
I like it on a hamburger. I don't like it with a spoon.
If I get a Subway sandwich and they put mayonnaise on it and I don't see it, like if I order it online, they put mayonnaise on it, I can sit that Subway sandwich in my seat in my car and I can smell the mayonnaise through the bag, and I know that they up.
Like it's,
My bad.
it's
It
terrible.
pisses me off though. I hate mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's for true.
Wow.
I feel the same, because it's like, even when I don't smell it. I'm not that aware of my mayonnaise.
I have PTSD with mayonnaise, you know.
It's terrible. Like,
it's like smelling death at war.
I'm that way with pickles. I
love pickles.
I don't like.
handle pickles.
I don't like either.
I might change my answer though. Pickles, I can put away some pickles. Although it gives you mad diarrhea because of all that vinegar, but man, I love pickles.
just out of this, just jar and all.
It doesn't matter what kind, if it's a whole, if it's a spear, if it's the slices, I'll eat it all.
The thing with pickles is if you take pickles off of a sandwich, it still tastes like pickles.
Yes.
What's got pickle juice on it?
Yes. It
Pickles
taints
will do that.
everything.
Gosh, I'm not a fan of either one, honestly. What do you think about soft tacos at Taco Bell?
Oh dear.
They're only good when you put them around the outside of a hard taco.
Oh.
That's for true.
I'm just thinking about the aftermath of eating this competitively.
It's only 53 at 10 minutes,
Oh dear.
which
See-
is very close to breakable for some people, I believe.
I don't think for me. I can eat like 10 soft tacos from Taco Bandito and then I start to die.
Well, there's the thing. You got to compare regular Mexican food, and then there's Taco Bell, which has its own category of bathroom etiquette. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I don't think you could throw those up fast enough though.
No.
They'd go through you.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. That's
Yeah.
next level danger right there.
Have you
Yeah.
heard about the gummy bears that cause
Yeah, sugar.
Is that the sugar-free ones? Yeah.
Yes.
Gummy
They
bears?
use that
God
sweetener
almighty.
that is also like X-Lax.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's like if you want extra laxative, go get some sugar-free gummy bears.
Yeah, I watched a guy
Screw
do
you if you're diabetic.
I watched a guy do a stream where that's all he did. He said he's gonna eat as many as he can. He wore a diaper for the stream. I'm going to go until I absolutely crap myself.
He probably did.
It was an hour long.
Good Lord.
That is the case for most sugar-free foods, though.
Yeah.
Like any candies, if you eat too much sugar-free, you will sit on the toilet for 3 hours. I've learned.
So how do we feel about baked beans? Just
I
one
can tear
more
up some
here.
baked beans.
I like baked beans.
10 pounds
Oh.
in 1 minute 45
Oh
seconds.
my gosh.
If you weigh 100 pounds and you eat 10 pounds of baked beans, you are 10%. Literally.
No, it's 90 pounds. 90 pounds.
90 pounds, yeah.
Still though.
Sorry.
Still, I'm pretty sure somebody that little may not survive eating 10 pounds of baked
Oh,
beans.
definitely not.
Like being a stick walking around and you just have like a gut and it's just nothing but beans. Just the thought of that, you know.
I'm just imagining, like, you bend down to pick something up with all those beans inside of you, and it just sloshes in your belly, and you're like,
You just hear just sloshing around like just a little sounds like just a bag of just stray beans in like a Walmart bag, you know. Just
I figured out the strategy. You know those people that get the little tummy tuck things? You just take what they took out and just add it to yourself.
You just have an elongated like stomach and intestines. Just go to the doctor and be like, "Doctor, I need you to elongate."
It's like
my
one of those.
intestines.
It looks like one of those deflated balloons, and you could just stuff it and blow it up as much as you want to.
Yeah. And then one more here to wrap it up. Ice cream.
Oh man, that would hurt. You talk about a headache.
Talk about brain and gut.
It would hurt.
1 gallon and 9 ounces in 12 minutes. That's
I could break that.
almost doable.
I
That
could
is
break
doable.
that.
Yeah.
A gallon?
1 gallon, 9 ounces of just straight vanilla in 12 minutes.
Does it specify that it has to be, frozen?
Then it's just a gallon of milk at that point.
Give me some strawberry, I could probably do that.
I could deal with some chocolate.
I'd get tired of some vanilla.
I would do it with vanilla with M&Ms, but then I might get choked on the M&Ms.
See, the strategy there would be go for Neapolitan. Get a little variety there.
Oh, then you can have Neapolitan puke at the end of it.
Right, just looking like a rainbow coming.
Yeah, just and then you're tasting the rainbow at that point.
You are.
You're tasting something.
It may not be the rainbow. So, I talked about this a little bit beforehand, getting off the food subject. I wanted to ask all of y'all and put y'all in a little bit of a scenario.
Okay.
Now, imagine somebody hires you to be like a contractor and design a escape room.
Okay.
And we've all done escape rooms. Now, imagine you're having to do this escape room. The only requirement that this person asks, of course, it has to be an hour time limit, so it has to be doable in less than an hour. If somebody made you do this or hired you to do this, the only requirement they ask is that the escape room has to be themed from a past history catastrophic event. Now, it's a weird question, but I saw this on somebody on YouTube asked this. Now, for example, make an escape room out of the Titanic. Now, towards the end, let's say it hits 30 minutes on the clock, you're halfway through, water starts filling the room. I'm not saying to the ceiling. I'm saying just into ankle-deep water.
Yeah.
Put you at ease. Yeah, cold, ice, because, they were in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So it's and they just hit an iceberg, and it was December or whenever that happened.
So, does it have to be a natural disaster or catastrophic
It could
event?
range anywhere from Pompeii to the Holocaust.
Okay.
Which is some bad events, and there's so many. It's just, and when you think about it, and I'll ask y'all which one y'all want to pick here in a minute, but it's Titanic, Hindenburg, Holocaust, Pompeii. You could even get somebody close to Mount St. Helens when that happened. Or we'll just keep it into past catastrophic events, because if you want to do future, you could be oh, well, what if Yellowstone blew up? Which would be worldly catastrophic, you know? Or if the moon was coming at us or something, you know? But natural and Holocaust type stuff, all that kind of stuff, what past event would y'all pick for your escape room?
Oh, this is something to think about.
I would honestly, I would go with the Titanic.
Yeah.
Because not only does everybody know about it, but if you put yourself, let's put yourself in one of those rooms that people stayed in with their beds,
Yeah.
and then just imagine a horn siren going off. You got to get to the boat or whatever, but it don't matter because it was women and children first, so most of the men died anyway. And then you can't get out of the door, and around 30 to 40 minute time, because the hour time limit, water starts filling the room.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying all the way up to the head, you got to start swimming, just ankle deep, ice cold water. I honestly think that would make you start getting it. If they didn't say anything, all of a sudden water started just coming through the door into you, and you're like, oh, something's happening, So, what are y'all thinking?
I've got mine.
All right.
I think it would be to escape a nuclear bomb.
Ooh, Chernobyl.
Well, that was a nuclear meltdown.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea.
Or
too.
Hiroshima.
I was thinking Nagasaki, Hiroshima. When he said that.
So I was thinking that, but more similar to the Nuke Town sort of thing with so it's 50s themed, sort of 40s and 50s themed.
Like Black Ops, or even from that Indiana Jones movie when they did it.
But it's basically a set that they built to drop a bomb on, see what happens
with the mannequins and everything.
Yeah. So I'd say something like that, but it's already been done by Indiana Jones. He got in that fridge and
yeah.
But yeah,
just sit in a fridge for an hour.
Yeah. Or the main thing could be oh, you got to get into the fridge. And I feel like that'd be a pretty fun sort of thing. 40s themed, and
you make it even more and say it's a fridge for one, but you have 4 people. Decide who's going to survive, and the 3 of them have to die in a nuclear explosion.
So my idea, it's based around Hitler, but it's not like you're inside of a concentration camp. All right, so
you're in the attic with Anne.
No, that would be fun.
Sit there for a long time.
The reason Anne Frank got caught is because she was in an escape room.
Sit down silently for an hour.
She was in an escape room with Jared, and he gave her up.
My idea is based off something my grandmother told me, because she had relatives that fled Germany back in World War II.
Yeah.
And what they did is they were all inside of a building, and it was like a very underground railroad scenario, where there was you would remove the carpet and there's a little floor underneath there.
Yeah.
And they'd have sniffing dogs and all that, and you heard about they coat steaks and pepper spray and stuff. Have you heard about that? That was one of the tactics that the Jewish people used in those times.
That way they can get the German shepherds to go look at other stuff.
Yeah. What would happen is that they would eat the steak, but at the same time it's got all that pepper spray and junk on it, and it would just mess up their entire senses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it worked really effectively, and it didn't kill the dogs, so, that's a win-win there.
Yeah.
Used to do that in Vietnam, too.
Yeah.
They would take, they had little, pepper sprays they would take with dog treats, and they'd throw it out, and the dogs that were chasing, especially the SOG crews, dogs that were chasing them, they'd get thrown off by those treats, and then they'd eat the pepper spray.
And then they're like, oh!
But yeah, my idea was basically you're on a little coastal town in Germany, and you hear some knocking on the door in some German words, and then you hear some gun being cocked, and you're like, oh no, we need to leave now.
Yeah.
And you go through a little maze, you go underneath the floor and different things. Or my other idea was Katrina.
Oh.
Basically,
I didn't even think of that. That's more recent than any of them.
Basically the Titanic idea, but you're just in a regular house.
And it's not...
And you got to get to the top.
Yeah, and it's not a boat sinking. You have a hurricane where it's raining.
You can hear the helicopter, but the helicopter has no idea you're there.
Yeah.
And you have to get
You're trying to get out to the National Guard, kind of. Yeah. And it starts flooding a little bit, and they need to put big fans for the wind, because I know Katrina's wind was terrible.
Yeah.
Doing hurricane stuff like that, I don't see how you could do Pompeii or a volcano or something like that. Really,
just turn the heat up.
Yeah, just ever slowly
somebody's outside punching the thermostat.
Just every minute or so they do 1 degree more, just every so, and you're just tortured. in there with like 100-degree weather.
I don't think that's legal.
I don't think it is either, because you're basically cooking these people alive.
Yeah.
In like a accidental sauna is what it is. But like the thought of that, because people talked about that, and they were like, "What would your catastrophic They said amusement park is what they were doing, because I was thinking of escape room. It's like one or a few rooms just to get out, you know.
Yeah.
But like a themed itself amusement park. One, it's sad. But it's like, how are you going to get rides themed after one thing, you know, unless you just have like Catastrophia or something, you know, where it's a catastrophic event amusement park where you got, go on one of those big swinging rides, and it's like, that's the Titanic or something, or it's like, and the ones that drop you from high above, and it's like, that's
I feel like
Hindenburg.
Sued.
Yeah. Well, honestly, yeah, because I mean, if you do the one, what's the one where you're like way at the top and you get a cord connected and you just jump and you just bungees you? Is that bungee jumping?
Yeah.
Do bungee jumping, but it looks like this is gonna be bad.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like
I know what you're saying.
You already know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Never forget. You know what I'm just saying. So,
Dang.
always remember.
George Bush.
But just stuff like that, you know. It's like, honestly, in the day and age we live in, I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happens, because it's all in it for money. And it's like, Titanic was over 100 years ago. Let's make fun of it.
Now, when you think of, like, when you said amusement park, you made me think of the zombie aspect of it, because, you know, that's the big thing for a lot of zombie movies.
Yeah.
A lot of zombie movies is you go to the amusement park, because it's just, like, good place, I guess, to be, because, you know, in the zombie land, they go up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Like, the thought of that is just, it'd be something if it actually happened, you know.
Yeah.
So, a question I have for y'all, getting off the Titanic and everything. I heard this question the other day. I think it was on TikTok, actually. Where, out of all of the public restrooms y'all have been to, where is the best and where is the worst? I can go ahead and start you off if you got to think about one or the other or both. The worst bathroom I ever been to was a little place called Cuba, Alabama. I went there. The walls, it looked like an abandoned building. Looked like it was abandoned. The walls were white and black. Not tile, as in like white with like black paint splattered everywhere. Mm-hmm. The toilet itself was stained yellow all over it. Like, you know how sometimes the inside of a toilet gets stained yellow? Mm-hmm. This was like the seat. It was peeling paint off of it and just nasty, you know. And it's like, I didn't touch anything. Like, I shouldered the door. Like, that's how I didn't want to touch anything, you know. And I don't really know where the best I've been to, but what do y'all think?
Well, for the worst, mine's more of a traumatizing experience than because it was at a baseball game.
Yeah.
And I was a very small individual at the time. And, you know, it barely made it to the trough, if you get my drift there.
I got you.
And then there were two not so little people on either side of me.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was full view. And they were like almost eye level. And it was very, very traumatizing to just look left and right. And it was like,
And those troughs at arenas are terrible. I hate them.
And they were like, I could touch, their elbows were touching my elbows. Well, my shoulders, but.
Yeah.
And it was just,
gross.
It's ingrained in my mind. So mine isn't necessarily that it was a bad
It's a worst
toilet.
Experience at a bathroom.
Yeah.
You got an idea?
I think my worst would probably be any bathroom at any bar. Best, now, that one. So I went to a restaurant and it was like it was a Mexican restaurant, but I would say it's kind of like a Torchy's almost, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was like Mama Maria's or something like that, and it was in Vicksburg.
Oh, okay.
So it's a themed restaurant, but you don't expect the bathroom to be as themed as it is.
Yeah.
You walk into the bathroom, you open the door, and the bathroom's probably the most themed part of it all.
Yeah.
So the toilet is painted tie-dye, the entire toilet. Inside, outside, everything's tie-dye.
Interesting.
There was like Jimi Hendrix posters
Yeah.
on the wall. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan was also on the wall.
Yeah.
The mirror, so the outline of the mirror was like, it looked like it was melting.
Yeah.
Like it was cut out and designed to look like that.
My goodness.
Looked awesome. I think the sink, it had one of those like waterfall sort of faucets on
yeah.
it.
Oh, them
which
are nice.
I love those.
Yeah.
And the floor was decorated like the ceiling, and the ceiling like the floor.
Oh.
Yeah, so you walk in, if you're tripping, man, you're
Sounds like I'd be tripping if I was on nothing.
Yeah.
Just walking in there.
Any bathroom that when you walk out with a smile and you just go, whoa.
Yeah. It's an
Especially-
experience, and it's a one-person bathroom too. So you're not standing there with like 4 other dudes, and you're just like, wow.
It's a experience and a
interesting.
private bathroom.
You walk in there and you have your own experience.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite, excuse me, has to be on my trip to London. So,
Ooh.
well, you remember Cars 2 when Mater goes into that Chinese bathroom or Asian bathroom, and
Yeah.
when a girl starts giggling.
Yeah.
Anyways, but it was one of those. It was like a super high-tech bathroom. Like you press a button and the seat would move up and it would go down.
Oh yeah, they got them
Or
technological
it
toilets.
had like the Tempur-Pedic settings too. Like the seat would get more like squishy or more like hard,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting. And it desanitizes the entire thing. Like you walk out and you can see steam just coming out of the stall,
Ooh.
and it was just really really cool. And there was a screen on the door when you close it. It was just super clean and super high tech, and I felt really out of place. I was like, am I supposed to like actually?
Am I in the wrong restroom?
Am I supposed to put something in this toilet, or is it for decoration?
Yeah, it's like this is the VIP bathroom.
But yeah, that'd be my best.
Yeah, I don't know where my best is, being honestly. I mean, other than like my own home, I guess. Like that's not public best, the bathroom, but like I mean, most places you go that are public are just not clean.
Yeah.
Like like between like theaters, they're okay.
Walmart.
Yeah, they're kind of dirty all the time. Any like big store like that, the only place would be any like closer to 4 to 5 star restaurant. Honestly, the people that actually care of taking care of the place, those are the types of places that I think. But I probably have been to one that was like a steak place or something, but I don't really remember.
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into a little bit of news. I just want to talk about one thing real quick for all of y'all and everybody at home. Season 2 of The Witcher premieres this Friday on Netflix. I, of course, really like Season 1. I don't know if y'all watched The Witcher or not. You did not?
I have not watched
I don't
it.
have Netflix.
Oh, okay. Well, if you get it, and if you watch it, Season 1 of The Witcher, it's Henry Cavill, who played Superman in the newer DC movies. He is, of course, Geralt of Rivia, which is the Witcher. And I played The Witcher 3, the game. Didn't beat it because it's god-awful long. It takes like 100 hours or more to beat the game.
Yeah.
And I get bored of games that take usually long times, But it was fun. And Season 1, all out of place. Season 1 is out of order. I've talked about that before. It's like you watch it in order of like 1, 2, 3, and 4. The normal order that they put them out is not the order that they're in chronologically.
Yeah.
Like it's episode 5 actually takes place first, then it's episode 3, and then it cuts to episode like 7, and then back to 1, that kind of order. Like you can look it up and see it, but it's like it'll be the first episode, and it's trying, and towards the middle of the season he's trying to get to a girl, and then the next episode takes place before she was born. So, and they don't tell you, they don't say years ago or present day or whatever, but
Is that how the book is? I wonder.
I don't know. The Witcher books are apparently weird because the Witcher books are always like, because they say every fight in those books take place from the perspective of somebody who's not in the fight. Like if you understand what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
imagine two people fighting in a bar, and there's an old man hiding under the table. Their perspective is from that old guy hiding under the table. Like, he's telling the fight while the Witcher and somebody else, a witch or a wizard, somebody is fighting him.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing, you know.
Huh.
But I never read them. Like, apparently they're really good, because that was the first thing that came out of them was the books, you know. And I mean, they made video games, now they got a Netflix show. So yeah, anybody who is interested in that, I plan on watching it. And yeah, that's about it for The Witcher and any other news. So, of course, without us three being here, talk about the thing we have talked about. I, at least, have talked about it pretty much almost every episode since the beginning of this year. I talked about this last week. Spider-Man Far From Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Crap. Far From Home. Far From Home was the last one.
Homecoming. It's Homecoming.
Okay. It's
Alone.
amazing. I don't. Beyond. No, that's Batman. Okay. The Spider-Man: The Dark Knight.
It's the Spider-Man.
Yeah. Spider-Man: The Dark Knight Returns. So, before we get into that, like I said this last week, every time I reviewed any Marvel movie or series, either by myself or with y'all, we talked about Spider-Man Far From Home at some point.
Yep.
No Way Home, dadgummit. It's not Far From Home. That was the second one.
Yep.
So we talked about, it was like WandaVision, Spider-Man, and then Falcon Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, Loki, Spider-Man. It's like, it all goes together, you know. This is the penultimate thing that all of this goes towards.
Yeah.
So, before we get into Spider-Man, and I already know the answer to one of these questions, out of all of the movies, Marvel movies, and Marvel series that have come out this year so far, that is Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and now about to be Spider-Man. And all the series are WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, and now Hawkeye. Out of all the series and movies we've watched this year, what is y'all's personal favorites?
I mean, it might just be a recency bias, but Hawkeye is just phenomenal right now.
That's true.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be because I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I liked them all. They all have very different charms. It's a very diverse group of TV shows.
Yeah. It's all Marvel feeling, but they're all their own thing.
Yeah, like, you can't even compare any of them.
Yeah.
Like, imagine trying to sit down and say, you take two of them. Let's take Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision.
Yeah.
And you try and compare literally any piece of that, you're like, they're just not the same at all.
They're just in the same universe. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. And it's hard to imagine they're even in the same universe at that point.
Because they're two very different
Yeah.
series and moods and
And
everything.
I would just say at the top of my list currently is Hawkeye. That might change next week, but as of right now, it's Hawkeye.
Yeah. I feel you.
I feel like mine is still Loki.
Still love
Yeah. I believe me as well. Hawkeye, I mean, it's hard not to say, like you said,
Yeah.
that Hawkeye, it's currently the one now.
Yeah.
Like, every time a new series came on, I would say, oh, it's my favorite. You know, like WandaVision, oh, this is awesome. Falcon and Winter Soldier, oh, it's my new favorite.
Yeah.
While I was watching it. And same with Loki and What If, and now Hawkeye. Hawkeye's good. It's given not the same vibe, but it's closer to Falcon and Winter Soldier than any of the others.
Oh, definitely.
So, because of, it's not got that Captain America movie vibe like Falcon and Winter Soldier had, but it's still got, like I just said, it's closer to that than, I mean, it's not like anything close to WandaVision or Loki. And What If was the only animated series that's still in the MCU, which is weird to think of. And there's going to be more coming soon.
I just like how they didn't just skim over the fact that in the comic Hawkeye is deaf. They actually leaned into that, and I like that a lot.
And also, well, and just saying to all of y'all listening, we'll talk about spoilers of both Spider-Man and Hawkeye, the newest episode we watched yesterday. We've all seen it at this point. We'll talk about spoilers of what happened at the last minute of that episode.
Oh my goodness.
After we watch the movie in a few minutes, and so, well, a few hours for us.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting Batman to just pop out.
I know. Hawkeye's like, I gotta do what's done. I'm Batman. And then all that happened, you know. And Mace Windu came back.
You sure did.
So, honestly, movie-wise, I think we can all just go ahead and predetermine say Spider-Man's going to be our favorite, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
But out of that question, since we haven't seen it yet, out of Black Widow, Eternals, and Shang-Chi, which was y'all's favorites? Because Spider-Man's kind of the main one.
I would say,
which one of those?
For me, Shang-Chi.
I'd be willing to say that too.
I'd be willing to say that 3.
Because it wasn't the same plot line as Doctor Strange, which is still my favorite. I think I like that better than Endgame.
Yeah.
Which is hard to even say.
Fathom.
It sounds blasphemous coming out of my mouth.
I know.
But I just really like Doctor Strange a lot. And it's sort of the same plot line because you have this bad guy, but actually there's this big bad guy, and this guy's working for this big bad guy, but he doesn't realize how bad this big bad guy is.
Yeah. And it was Shang-Chi's dad.
Yeah, and then there's magic everywhere. And it's a hidden little place.
And they had a callback with Trevor the actor, who was the actor for the Mandarin back in the Iron Man movies. Yeah. So it's like they made their connections.
Nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was a pleasant movie. I mean, obviously it wasn't world changing, but it was an enjoyable movie to watch.
Yeah. It wasn't a letdown.
I will say with the rings themselves, it did offer a little bit of preface to the Eternals. Yeah. So you can pretty well assume, since they don't have, Wong said they don't have those in their archives. It's not any of those artifacts that they know about. Yeah. You can pretty well assume that Phastos, in another sort of section of the universe, built those rings, and they just somehow ended up on the planet. Yeah. In similar fashion to what happened in Eternals. Yeah. Which I sort of like that. Being able to make that connection is kind of cool.
It's the subtle connections
also,
that they do.
The big thing that they did in that movie was at the very end, it was Bruce Banner. Regular Bruce Banner.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a question a lot of people have had.
And I don't know if that'll be answered tonight or...
They might answer it in She-Hulk a lot better.
She-Hulk, because they show the trailer for that, and his arm was not injured. Yeah. As the Hulk. So either it takes place way later and he's healed, or that could have taken place in the middle of the blip. Those 5 years that somehow that he worked on. I don't know her name, but the lady who turns into She-Hulk. Yeah.
It's his cousin. I forget what her name is.
Yeah. I don't remember her name.
In the comics is his cousin. We're not sure what happened.
Yeah. If they stay close to it, I feel like it could be. Yeah. Because it could be like, her parents were blipped and he had to take care of her because of the snap that Thanos did. So for those 5 years, and then I guess, I don't know where it leads to him trying to turn her into a female Hulk, Yeah. But we're still getting that. And then, that's a lot coming next year as well. But I honestly would say Shang-Chi as well. Mm-hmm. Overall, as a movie, it was good. The graphics and CGI and effects for those two movies of Shang-Chi and Eternals have been otherworldly. Just to say, Eternals, we've all seen everything that's come out this year, right? Yeah. Eternals, I've said this before when I reviewed it, Eternals, I would not be surprised if it won a Best of Visual Effects Oscar. Mm-hmm. With the way they did things. And Shang-Chi was good, yeah, but in my opinion, the visual effects kind of leans towards Eternals a little bit. Yeah. Because especially at the end battle.
How about how they did Alexi's gut in Black Widow? I mean, that's some special effects right there.
Which honestly, knowing that actor, that could have been his real gut. Knowing him, I mean, he was, what's his name, Hopper in Stranger Things. Yeah. So, I feel like he would be committed to the bit by you got to get fat and talk Russian. He's like, yes, I will do that.
And I think we'll all agree that we all also enjoyed Black Widow. I mean, I don't want to just discredit that movie because that was a good movie too.
It was. Yeah, it was just compared to the other two is the only reason.
Cosmic implications.
I will say though, I think Black Widow was better than Eternals.
Ooh, hot takes. Takes.
He said it.
I saw the Eternals 3 times because I wanted to make sure my first impression wasn't just, me being an ass or something. But
because I feel like that was both of our first impressions because we saw it on premiere night.
Yeah, I sort of felt like it was forced, to be very inclusive of everyone. So now, you know, it's not the Fastos having a husband or anything like that. It was more of like the
Don't get Todd canceled.
no, not trying to. Like there's you can have so many you can have as many people of different backgrounds as you want.
Yeah.
And it's cool to explore them. Like they went to was it Kumail Nanjiani? What was it?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Nanjiani, yeah.
He was the one in
They went to
Stuber with Batista.
Bollywood with him, which, you know, that's cool and all. But, you know, it sort of felt like it was like really pressured to have it all in there. Like they squeezed everything in.
Well, that's what I said. It's like a 2.5 hour movie. The first hour and a half is all Act 1.
Mm-hmm.
They had to introduce everybody, break them up, and then shove them all in different parts.
Yeah.
And kill Selma Hayek.
Yeah.
And it was so much. And honestly, I've said this before. The first part, in the first like 10 or 15 minutes, where Richard Madden and the lady with the green outfit who became the leader, I don't remember her name. They had the first ever MCU sex scene.
Yeah.
I feel like that was not needed at all.
I mean,
Like,
what did it accomplish?
But that's included in what I mean by like inclusivity. They were trying to like really pack everything in, you know.
well, they're trying. It's like they were trying to make the Eternals as a Marvel movie, but every other movie today.
Yeah.
Like I feel like every movie that comes out that's PG-13 or higher.
try to make it super diverse, give it a lot of different.
Why can't
characteristics.
Marvel continue to make kids movies?
I mean, well, you say that, but then the next Deadpool movie made by Disney is also going to be rated R.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a rated R Marvel movie, but
true.
It seems like they're just steering everybody down a more adult theme when there's nothing for the younger generation.
Yeah.
True.
I have no problem with Deadpool. I love Deadpool.
Yeah.
There's a place for a rated R Marvel movie, but there's also a place for some more childlike themes.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because like you said, they're getting closer and closer with more and more adult theme, because you have Deadpool 3, apparently, or just another or for MCU's first ever Deadpool movie is going to be rated R. I mean, Ryan Reynolds confirmed that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people have always been rumored that the Blade movie is going to be rated R.
Which would be
It's suiting
acceptable
for him because the original trilogy of Wesley Snipes' Blade movies were rated R.
And you have to look at the comics in a lot of that too.
Yeah.
With, I mean, I suppose the Eternals, they were like sex fiends. But, you know, when you have a comic like Deadpool or Blade it's predominantly like
Graphic.
brutal and graphic.
It's a graphic comic book.
You should follow that with a movie. And, you know, like Captain America, he was, you know, good guy all around.
USA. You know? But now they're introducing Deadpool, Blade, and then Daredevil may show up. Apparently the Punisher. All the ones that were in the Netflix shows are apparently coming to the MCU.
Yeah.
So it's like that Daredevil show was violent. All of them were. Like the Punisher was rated R Netflix series. So it's like you can't have a PG Punisher.
No, I feel like they should stick with it if that is the persona of the character, for sure.
Yeah.
Stick towards the source.
I mean, there was a comic book called The Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And there was another one called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So it's like, and those were graphic because, I mean, Deadpool killed the Avengers and Wolverine and a lot of them by putting, he used Ant-Man's tiny, whatever it's called, to make explosives really small, put it in coffee, and the Avengers drank it, and it blew up inside of them.
And the other thing about Deadpool versus, say, the Eternals is Deadpool is pushing no type of agenda at all.
Yeah.
Deadpool's having fun.
Deadpool is Deadpool. Because all they got to do is make it rated R and do good with the writing and all that, and just let Ryan Reynolds have his fun. Because he is Deadpool.
When I have nothing wrong with inclusivity, like you said, John, but when you trade off inclusivity for a good story, it's not worth it.
It's not. No, it's not. But like, it's okay for whatever their point is, you know. But when they push it too much is whenever it's like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, Eternals was still alright. I mean, it's not a terrible movie. It's not Thor: The Dark World.
I saw it 3 times. It's not like it was one and done. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's good enough to rewatch. But it was like, I feel like it was like sort of Disney Marvel's bid to like stay in that area of media where they're like, oh, we can be with these guys because they include everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just trying to keep Marvel up with the times, because you got people who don't want that, you got people who do want that, and it's like, well, who do we satisfy?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be mad either way, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
Because that's every single movie, series, music. You can look at music, you can look at anything, you know.
And a lot of that's going to be your directors that really influence that a lot. Same thing with Captain Marvel. Their directors, you can really see that kind of thing come through in the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if with these Spider-Man movies, John Watt's been the director for this trilogy, you can see in each movie, you can tell this is his work. Just how you could tell if it was a Martin Scorsese film. But I mean, like,
let's see, Tim Burton. You could definitely tell a Tim Burton film.
They have styles, and when they pick those directors that have the styles that are,
you get what you get. I mean,
PC, and they want to stick with the times, you can tell.
Yeah.
But like you said, with the certain directors having their own styles, it's like, I'm still wondering when are they going to get Christopher Nolan to do a Marvel movie. He did all the Dark Knight movies, Inception, and Tenet. So he did, and more that I don't know of. Tenet is it was because it was a pandemic movie.
Yeah.
It came out in the brunt of, it came out, like, we saw it in September 2020.
Yeah.
Still, like, towards the peak of COVID. Like, that's when stuff started opening again.
Yeah.
And it was like the theater was open. You could only do private watch parties because they would not allow general public.
For everybody listening to this that hasn't watched Tenet, Justice for Tenet, go watch the movie.
It is a
fantastic.
great movie. Makes you think a lot. You might need to watch it more than once if you're a slow person. But great movie all around, though. So, the time's coming down, and it's getting closer and closer to the movie. So I think a time right now, real quick, we're going to give our predictions. No spoilers. We haven't seen the movie yet. It does the good commercials start in 1 hour.
Yeah.
So for us three, this has been the biggest movie since Spider-Man Endgame, since Avengers Endgame. All of this has led up to it. Without any spoilers we've seen or anything. I haven't seen anything. Jaron, I don't think I've seen anything. John has.
Yes, but I will limit my words to what I predicted before I was.
Yes, you will say
before I was tainted,
as if your mind was before that.
Yeah, you're still a virgin.
to the spoilers.
Untouched.
Pure, white as a lamb.
So with all that, we just gotta go down with it. I think a lot is going to happen.
Wow, bold prediction.
That's it. All right, we'll be back after the movie. So I think, I don't know. It's weird to know that, like, you know something. I don't want to know it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. But it's like,
and I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, good.
You're going to figure it out.
I will figure it out. But it's like a lot of you got to think about, because from what the trailer has shown, and honestly, I don't know if y'all saw this, they didn't plan on showing the villains yet. Doc Ock and Green Goblin and all them, Marvel wanted to keep them a secret till the movie came out.
They should have.
They weren't going to show Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, and the Lizard. They weren't going to show them.
Yeah.
But Disney or Sony wanted to show them. Sony wanted to get out everything. Sony's the type of company that shows half the movie in the trailer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, might as well show Friday the 13th or something and show that he lives. You know, it's like that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's where they should have, like, if they did the Avengers Endgame trailer and had Tony snap at the end of it and showed it, that would ruin the movie.
Whoa,
you know?
Spoilers, man.
It would ruin the marketing too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this, especially for this movie, I don't think there's been marketing better for any other movie in history. But it's because it's not normal marketing. It's because they are allowing these little small slips to come out. And then, so let's say, like with the trailer where Lizard got punched. They let that go out. Just like, you don't know if they did it on purpose or anything.
Because that was like the Brazilian trailer.
Or like the Dr. Octopus, and you see the Iron Man style arms on Dr. Octopus.
The nano part, yeah.
And none of that is ever addressed. And
all it is a bunch of rumors from fan accounts.
And everybody's making rumors about it. And this it spreads like COVID, you know?
It spreads worse than COVID and worse than wildfire. Like,
everybody wants to know what happens at this point. And it's the same thing also with the soundtrack that got released. And it had the Spider-Man themes, all the themes from each Spider-Man in one song.
See, I didn't know that.
That got taken down by Sony, I believe. That is also another wicked...
Sony just being careless.
It's a wicked marketing strategy, because now everybody's got it confirmed. Like, they're pretty sure you're going to see the other two.
Toby and Andrew are going to be in this.
But nobody knows.
I just love that they had an interview with either Toby or Andrew. I don't remember which one it was, but they're like, so are you actually in the new Spider-Man? He's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I could be. I could not be.
I love when Andrew talks about it. He's like... Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, he don't answer the question. Yeah. That's the one I saw about Andrew, and because they said it like last week or something, and Andrew they were like, "You got to tell us, are you in the new Spider-Man movie?" And Andrew was like, "No, I'm not in it." And he was like, "Just go see it." He said, "I'm going to go see it. Are you going to go see it?" And then he said, "If I see it, we'll see if I am or not, and I'll be in the theater watching it." And I was like, "What?" Like, okay.
Great interview moment from all this is they asked all the villains, they had them lined up, and they're like, so what was your favorite part about being in the new Spider-Man movie? And they asked the Dr. Octopus actor, and he's like, the money.
Yes.
He's so good.
I love Alfred Molina.
Philip Molina. No, wait.
Alfred.
It's Alfred.
Yeah. Alfred Molina.
Alfred.
Absolutely love him. He's hilarious. He's great.
They're all great. Too. Like Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Couldn't be better.
Yeah, casting. And he's like in his 70s or something.
Looks great.
And he said he would only do this movie if he did his own stunts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
and he's
God.
like 70 years old. I'm like, he's the real one.
He might actually be Green Goblin.
I honestly think so. He probably has that little flying thing. Right. Yeah.
So predictions. We didn't even talk about predictions.
So
we're just too excited.
I mean, it is. It's been building for over a year now. Yeah. So it's like,
yes.
But I will say this. A lot of stuff has been happening. I showed y'all a picture earlier. Jared Leto was at the red carpet, so Morbius might be in it. Tom Hardy's Venom might be in it. Charlie Cox's Daredevil might be in it. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man might be in it. Spider-Gwen might be in it. Miles Morales might be in it from Into the Spider-Verse.
I want to see some Peter Porker.
Porker and Spider-Man Noir as Nicolas Cage might be in it. The robot one with the girl with the spider, and all the characters Into the Spider-Verse, basically, because that was also confirmed across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Yeah.
What's his name? Poe Dameron, his actor. I don't remember his name. The guy who played
Spider-Man, like 20.
Spider-Man 2099.
Like, yeah.
He could be in it because he's got the red and blue with the spikes, like Batman suit, you know.
Arguably the coolest.
One of the coolest. All that kind of stuff might happen because of how, and like you said with the marketing, I honestly believed if they shouldn't have released a trailer.
Yeah.
They should, because a lot happened during the summer. Spider-Man was one of the number one most trending things on Twitter for like 3 months, and there was no trailer.
Yeah.
Marvel didn't even say anything, and people were like, Andrew and Toby might be in it. Like, that was
Marvel's
it.
like, free publicity.
That's what the thing, and then Sony's like, you know what? How about we just release the movie on YouTube? That's what Sony wants to do.
Yeah.
If Sony had full control, they would want to tell you if Toby or Andrew was in it.
Yeah.
Because they would want you. They think that's why you want to go. But it's the mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the mystery. The thought of whether they're in it or not, it's still going to be a good movie.
You're either going to get that satisfaction, or Marvel's going to be like, huh, gotcha.
And then Kevin Feige's going to come on the screen and say, ha, nerd, and then that's it. That's the end of the movie.
It's going to be...
Kevin Feige will return.
He's going to do what Captain America did in the last one, where it's just at the very end. No, that was the first one. He comes in at the end. He's like, "You waited so long for something."
And sit up and then turn the chair around.
Yes.
So.
And then that's where you see Andrew Garfield just come out of nowhere and be like, "Captain, are we supposed to be doing something?"
It would be absolutely great to see that Captain America clip at the end of it.
No, just let it play at the beginning.
Oh.
Do the Marvel Studios thing and then have that start. So.
He's like, "Oh, you were expecting like Morbius or somebody to pop up."
Oh, you got to do the Deadpool Ferris Bueller thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
You
what are you
still
doing?
here?
You still here? What are you doing? Like that was so funny when that happened. But prediction-wise, are there any like big things that y'all have in mind, or subtle things maybe? Because also in the trailer, Zendaya was falling. That's a callback to, was it Gwen in that Amazing Spider-Man?
I have an idea that Zendaya's not going to make it through the movie.
Okay.
That's a bold statement. It's a
It's
prediction.
bold.
I just get this feeling.
I think there's no way. I think Tom Holland's not going to die. His Spider-Man isn't
Tom
gonna
Holland's
die.
not
No.
going to die.
No, because it's already been confirmed, which isn't a spoiler, I guess, that they're already planning on doing another trilogy
Yeah.
of Spider-Man movies. Because he's the mainstay. He's got to be the next guy. He's taking Tony Stark's place.
The thing is, they've announced all these different people, but I got a feeling there's at least one person that they have purposefully not said a word about that is in this movie, and I have no clue who that is.
Besides Andrew and Toby, maybe.
Well, I mean, it's like inferred that they're in the movie. I'm talking about somebody just out of nowhere.
Like Leto's Morbius, maybe. Or
Yeah.
Venom or somebody, you know. Honestly, I was surprised we didn't see Amazing Spider-Man version of Green Goblin. The one who was like, you know.
Yeah.
Which, did you hear Tom Holland said that he wants his own version of Green Goblin, which may show up, I don't know. It's all what ifs, you know.
Yeah.
He wants his version of Green Goblin played by the actor Timothy Chalamet, who was in Dune. You know, he was the boy.
Yeah.
Because him and Timothy and Tom Holland are close friends, apparently. And they said Timothy Chalamet's a great actor, like he was in Dune and any other movie he's been in. But he said he would be awesome as his version of Green Goblin.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, is there anything, any other what ifs, maybe?
I think, again, a bold prediction. I think the Watcher's going to appear. I think they're really trying to tie in some of that animated what if into all this.
Well, they have to at some point.
I will say, I don't think the Watcher himself will appear. I think that something from the What If series will appear.
Ooh.
Because
Good Thanos.
Zombie Thanos.
Gosh.
it is rumored that Multiverse of Madness has a...
Well, this sets up that.
Yeah, at the end, there is a post-credit scene that's supposed to be Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Well, with that...
With no spoilers.
yeah, no, this was not what was spoiled for me. With that, so Scarlet Witch is supposedly the villain in Multiverse of Madness. Mm-hmm. She's way more powerful than Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
When she turned into the Scarlet Witch,
I think we might see Doctor Strange,
like
ultimate.
Doctor Strange?
Yes. At the end of this movie.
The one who was stuck in that purple golf ball.
Yes.
Because, again, we go back to the first trailer. That's not regular Doctor Strange. That's not at all how he would act.
Everybody's been saying in every series and movie that's come out this year is freaking Mephisto was supposed to show up.
Yeah.
Could he be in this movie, or will he be in Multiverse of Madness? Also,
could he be the Doctor Strange we see in this movie?
And they're like, in the Multiverse of Madness, Loki's going to be in it.
Yeah.
We're having Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, and Loki all in one movie.
I think this
together.
is the toss up for Multiverse of Madness to hit a home run, honestly.
And the director of Multiverse of Madness, which is Sam Raimi, who did he did the original Spider-Man trilogy.
He is great with
He
horror
said,
movies.
or somebody said, the Multiverse of Madness trailer will drop before the year ends.
I honestly think
goodness.
we're gonna get like a pre-trailer sampling at the end of this, and it'll be something for sure.
Yeah.
Because Scarlet Witch, she's going to turn to a villain soon.
Oh yeah.
Very soon. She
What's wrong with the White Vision?
at the end of the her series,
She was reading the Darkhold book.
She was, and she is probably going to realize that Doctor Strange has the powers to interfere with the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Her kids are going to be in the multiverse somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the only way she can get them.
And Venom,
And
not Venom, Vision, that's his name.
Yeah.
Vision being alive somewhere, which is apparently rare, because I feel like he dies a lot.
Yeah.
In the What If episodes, I mean...
Well, like with Tony Stark in that one episode of What If, the Watcher was like, "Oh, you're still alive in this universe?"
Yeah.
Everybody dies in one universe; they're supposed to die in the others too.
With all of this that's already been said, I think we're going to see White Vision at the end.
White Vision.
I think we're gonna see Man Spider.
Man Spider.
With the body of a spider.
Yeah, and it talks like a man.
Yeah.
That's actually a villain in Batman universe. There's Man Bat, who is a man who, like, say, I guess he tried to turn into Batman, but he did it scientific way, like the Hulk. But instead of doing like the Hulk or whatever, he got like bit by a bunch of bats, and he didn't get COVID, but he turned into a bat.
That's what Morbius does, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to take kung fu lessons, so I'll just get bit by a bat, and maybe it'll do the same thing.
And he turned it like he's like a gigantic bat with human legs is all he is, and he's weird looking.
But I will say, in the Morbius trailer, when he goes up to that guy and he's like, "I'm Venom," and he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding, I'm Dr. Morbius."
Yeah.
When that happens, that pretty much confirms Morbius is in the Venom universe, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the Venom, their Carnage movie, there was that scene where Venom basically gets transferred into the universe.
Our MCU
Yes.
universe.
Yeah.
Morbius likely has a chance to be similarly transferred into the universe.
Well, it's already
he's not
could have
already in
happened
the
because Michael Keaton's Vulture's in the movie.
Yeah.
That's right.
But when he's walking down an alley, there's a poster of Spider-Man back there.
Yes.
And it's the poster of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
But Morbius is supposed to be in, Venom's universe. So,
Again,
don't know if Venom could be in Tobey Maguire's, but
again, what I think happened there is Sony just misstepped, and they released
could
something
be.
they were not supposed
Could
to
be.
release
yeah.
until after this movie that we're about
Because
to
of our questions we're asking about it. Like, we got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man poster, but Michael Keaton is Vulture in the same trailer. It's like,
Huh?
what? Now I got to see it to answer my question. It's like, that's it.
It's likely that Morbius was
and
moved.
Joker is Morbius? What?
with the slick back hair.
It's likely that what was his name?
Morbius.
Morbius was moved, and what happened was that's the Michael Keaton of the MCU, and we're seeing him interact in the MCU like he never left.
Yeah.
Could be that.
Because
We don't know. Sony
had
sucks.
a random idea popped in my head that, like, if the end of this movie, and, like, let's imagine Strange closing the portals and everybody's going back to theirs. What if some of the villains crossed in others? Like, what if you had Defoe's Green Goblin go to the Amazing Spider-Man universe
I have
and all
the
that kind of
perfect
stuff,
post-credit scene. All right?
Okay.
It's the CEO of Disney and the CEO of Sony, and the guy from Sony just comes up and be like, "I'm selling it."
Like, that's
I
it.
wish.
Sony will not return.
That would be great.
That'd be awesome.
You see him just put Mickey ears on his head.
True. With all of us saying those predictions, is there anything else we need to say or have to say? I mean, there's a lot of stuff we know about, honestly, with Doctor Strange teaming up with Spider-Man. I'm really glad. I like that. I like the part that every movie and series is just a different team up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
I also think that Spider-Man will have a good chance to be in the Multiverse of Madness. This is a prediction after the fact, but I think that it'll probably be, we'll see like Doctor Strange as a father figure instead of Tony Stark at this point.
I mean, yeah, somebody
he
has
traded.
to step up.
He traded Sherlock's.
Yeah, but with this trilogy ending, he's also ending that high school era. He'll be going into college soon, so he won't necessarily need a father figure. So could be, could not.
I mean,
we never
you
know.
say that, I'm a lost cause right now.
Yeah.
But with all that, and honestly, I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm just excited, man. Just ready.
That's honestly it, because it's like they're planning this to hold us over until the next movie, which is Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that comes out in May. And then after that, I think I had a picture, I had it written down somewhere, that the next series was like the Miss Marvel series. Yeah, we got like after Doctor Strange is supposed to be Thor Love and Thunder, and then it's Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then the Marvels, which is Captain Marvel's next movie.
Yeah.
And then the series are like, and we can talk about that once we do the spoiler review. We'll give our most anticipated movie and series of next year.
Yeah.
There's She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. Secret Invasion might come out next year. Season 2 of What If is already planning on coming out next year. And it's going to be a What If season about these movies that came out this year.
Oh, man.
Like, what if Black Widow, something happened there? Like, what if Black Widow and Hawkeye traded places?
Yeah.
It'd be totally different
Yeah.
if they just sacrificed the other one, you know? So, and we'll talk about Hawkeye when we get back as well, because that's also a present to unpack as well.
I like your terminology there. Works well for Hawkeye.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas, everybody. So
Let's go watch this movie, man.
yeah, y'all ready to watch Spider-Man No Way Home?
ready.
My heart is beating.
I'm
We've
ready.
been most anticipated movie of the year without a doubt.
I'd be worried if your heart wasn't beating.
Yeah, I didn't say that right.
My heart is I am alive.
I'm finally alive. I've been dead for 20 years.
I was
Yes.
revived just to watch Spider-Man. So
Yeah, they pulled me out of the grave.
just to bring back to watch Spider-Man.
As they should.
That's for true. That's honestly for
That's
true.
what true friends are for.
Yeah. So next time y'all out there hear us, we've already watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm going ahead and saying it right now. Pause this episode right now if you don't want to hear Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers. If you've already seen it or you don't care, go ahead and listen to the rest of it. But if you want, this is coming out, like, we're seeing this 2 days before this episode comes out.
Mm-hmm.
This is Thursday. This episode comes out Saturday. And I know you're not supposed to give spoilers, but I've given heavy spoiler warning in a week advance, honestly. So don't listen to however long is left of this episode, whether it be 10 minutes or 30 minutes, or if it's just 1 second, we say, wow, and then that's the end.
Save yourselves.
Yeah. So if you don't want to get spoiled, go watch it right now, wherever you are. Go watch Spider-Man. Come back and listen to the rest.
Keep your purity.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, spoiler warning. Guys, let's go watch Spider-Man.
Let's do
Hell
it.
yeah.
All right. So, you heard the spoiler warning. We just got out of the movie. It is 10:25 p.m. And
Wow.
I don't really know what to say.
I mean, just,
Wow.
yeah. Good word, John.
That's the only word that really can describe all of our feelings right now, from the emotion, whether it be sadness, enjoyment,
satisfaction.
shock, just full on every emotion was in this like 2.5 hour movie. And which, starting from the beginning, we're not going to go see my scene, but starting from the beginning, I mean, I'm very glad it picked up right where Far From Home ended.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to
Immediately.
binge watch them, because it was right there when he said, Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and then it started right there.
Yeah.
And then also, since we're talking spoilers, I can say anything. I honestly was a little shocked that Mysterio did not make any appearance. But there wasn't really any room for him.
I really didn't even think about Mysterio throughout the entire movie.
Because he's still alive. But, yeah, is he?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, it's because,
Well, if you say at the end of it, he said, "Is he really gone?" And what's her name? Karen said, "All illusions are down." She never said he's dead.
yeah.
All right, but getting off of the last movie, let's
But
get on to
this
some
started
No Way Home.
right after that, and he starts getting berated that Peter Parker is in fact Spider-Man. And then the biggest thing, which was literally 2 minutes long, is freaking Daredevil was in this movie.
Yeah.
And that did not happen for long.
Yeah, he had a scene cut.
He did.
Yeah. I knew that.
Okay, let's start with this. What did you know, John?
Yeah.
Going into this.
I knew Daredevil was in it for sure. I knew he had a scene cut where they were going to court, actually going to court. And that was Daredevil's main scene. He was going to be in it for much longer.
Yeah.
And I knew about, I had seen the scene where, Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker, he was talking about how his back was hurt. And, Andrew Garfield popped his back for him. I saw that scene. So I knew that they were in it for sure.
Where did you see this?
That was on Twitter.
Oh,
Twitter's a
the darkness
dangerous
of
place.
Twitter.
Twitter, really, yeah. It's awful.
No holds barred over there.
I don't have Twitter, but I want to uninstall it anyways.
Yeah.
I have it, but I just never get on it.
That was pretty much all I knew going into it, but
It's still some pretty big
It kind of
pieces.
it just confirmed of what everything was heavily rumored.
Yeah.
Was that Matt Murdock,
Yeah, you got the two rumors.
Daredevil was there, which is Charlie Cox's the actor who is the Daredevil Netflix show.
well, I also theorized that Dark Evil Doctor Strange would be in the end credit scene.
And you were right.
I had an idea.
I don't even remember what all I predicted,
But-
but I'm pretty sure I was wrong.
It
on
was
all of
said like 10 minutes ago to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems more like Evil Doctor Strange will be the bad guy. I thought Scarlet Witch would be the bad. It looks like
You
they're
know,
working
I got
together.
that assumption too.
Was because of the way she was with the Darkhold at the end of WandaVision, which this takes place after that.
I
Because
mean-
Strange is trying to get the Scarlet
We
Witch's
could
help.
see at the beginning of Multiverse where she's just like reading the Darkhold. She's like, I don't want any part of this because I'm not a bad person.
And she
True.
apologized for what she did.
With Westview.
Yeah.
But he said, I'm not here for that. What do you know about the multiverse? and that
She
was
goes,
it.
Oh.
Yeah, and like, she knows.
And then, so let's get on to this movie that we just watched. Talk about emotional. I mean, there's some very satisfying moments, not just for Tom Holland, Peter Parker, but there was some
For
things both of the other ones.
Tobey
too.
Maguire and
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield showed up, which honestly, the way they showed up was the best possible way they could have.
Yeah.
In a very comedic scene. Like, if they just
Ned.
swung out of nowhere, it would have been like, whoa, it would have been a shock, yeah. But Ned brought in Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield.
The coolest thing is nobody even recognized it until Garfield started walking closer.
Because of his eyes, like you said.
Yeah, like he looks like regular, like all the other Spider-Man. I mean, they all have
Yeah.
a similar costume, and you couldn't recognize that until he started walking towards.
Yeah.
and you're like, wait a minute, hold up, and
It's like, that's Andrew.
I would say my single favorite moment in this movie was when Andrew Garfield got to save MJ. That was just
towards the end.
that
yeah.
was just
Very emotional.
It was his redemption for losing Gwen,
yeah. That was
which
just,
was,
yeah.
and that's still a heartbreaking scene to even think about from
Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then there was a bunch of comedy between all three of the Spider-Man, all the Peters.
Yeah.
Of Tobey Maguire was dressed as a cool youth pastor and trying to figure out who's Peter 1, Peter 2, and Peter 3.
Yeah.
Poor Andrew was stuck as Peter 3.
Peter 3.
He's the only one. He's the only one of them that doesn't have a trilogy. So he only has 2 movies, you know.
Which is
And
ironic because he got the number 3.
He didn't get to fight any cool villains. He didn't have an alien.
He
was
fought
like, I want to fight an alien.
he's like, I fought a Russian in a rhinoceros costume. It was like Toby fought Venom, who's an alien, and
Yeah.
then Tom Holland has been the biggest because I mean he fought freaking Thanos. And then they're like,
In space.
and then they don't have the Avengers in their universes. They're just Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're
So it's
like-
like, is that a band?
You a part of a band?
They're like Avengers. Whoa, what is that?
I honestly forgot just how funny Andrew Garfield was.
Yeah. They're both such great actors.
I need to
as
go
it
back
is.
and watch all of the Spider-Man movies now.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, you got to watch Toby's and then Andrew's and then watch the first 2 Tom Holland movies and then this.
Yeah.
Because it's literally not just the MCU. This is the whole,
What's crazy is that's chronological now to watch it in that order.
yeah.
That's insane to even think about.
But it's weird because it's like, it hurts my brain to think about because he got Green Goblin and Doc Ock pulled them out of their respective first Spider-Man movies before they died.
Yeah.
Tobey, who showed up, was after Spider-Man 3, so he knows that all of them are dead, but Doc Ock was fighting him when he got pulled out. So therefore, what happened to those Spider-Man? Are they just...
They're just chill.
I mean, the first Tobey and the second Tobey
What
are
I
just
think
stuck.
happened is they got returned right to that specific moment, and then the Tobey Maguire that was there present,
Like
at
the Yelena
time.
scene with the blip from the Hawkeye episode, which we'll talk about too.
Yeah, and what I think happens is Tobey's like smart enough to recognize, hey, they just had a major change in their life, or maybe he could actually see it, because Willem Dafoe is a very facial person. Like, you can tell when he's insane.
Oh, he goes full Joker when he's insane.
And like you could literally just look at him and tell.
Yeah.
You hear it in his voice.
Yeah, and it's just
Peter Parker.
I just want to know where they pulled Tobey Maguire from. What was he up to?
That looks like it's further.
After the third.
So
It's
it
after
looks
the
like
third.
All
It's
of
gotta be.
all of the villains got pulled right before they died, and then the Spider-Man got pulled
present day.
as they were in the moment because they never died.
Yeah,
Because that's what... Because Toby is kind of retired. Because
he's had years.
He reminded me of the Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Peter B.
Yeah. That he was kind of retired Spider-Man.
Baby powder.
And then Andrew, since Gwen died, he got, like you said, he got rageful and wasn't pulling punches
Is that
when
what
he was fighting them.
I can't even remember. It's been so long since I've seen the second Amazing Spider-Man. What happened at the end after Gwen died?
I don't remember. He fought.
There wasn't much after.
It was New Goblin and Electro, and then they got killed.
Electro was the first movie, right?
No, that was just
First
Dr.
one was
Connors.
just the Lizard,
just Dr. Connors.
because the second one was when
Okay.
when Electro showed up. I've seen I've seen the first one once, and I don't hardly remember any of it. But the Lizard was the only one in the first one because he tried to turn everybody into lizards.
Yeah.
And then the second one was just Electro and that power plant, and then New Goblin showed up. I call him
New
that.
Goblin basically killed Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, because she fell down that clock tower or whatever, and then he caught her, but not before she hit the ground, because it was like, and all his web was already on her, and it like whipped her spine and head into the concrete, and that's what killed her. But emotional for that, since he did get his redemption for saving Zendaya's MJ.
It didn't register to me when Aunt May said, with great power comes great responsibility, that she was about to die.
Because both Uncle Ben's.
I didn't
That was their
even
last words.
recognize that was what was about to happen, and I should have.
Yeah.
And then that was it felt really bad, but it felt really good at the same time, because you knew Peter had to have that moment in his life.
Because his Uncle Ben never said that.
Yeah.
Tom
We got
Holland's
to
Uncle
see
Ben.
a dark Peter Parker in the version of Tom Holland too.
Yeah.
He showed some evil.
He showed some evil.
He has a dark
He
side.
let out some evil.
He literally was going to kill Willem Dafoe.
Which I think with the pre-end credit
The mid-credit scene.
Yeah. Venom got left behind. A little piece of Venom. I think that little evil that's left in him may help him bond with Venom.
Well, that's how,
Might get
like
Black Suit
Spider-Man 3.
I said this in the theater. I just don't understand how a little piece of Venom
No, I
made
couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I don't really understand either. That's for them. They'll explain it, maybe.
I realized, so when Venom did the hive mind thing in There Will Be Carnage, or Let There Be Carnage, he introduced Eddie to the knowledge that Peter Parker's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So that way he knew, and he could be transferred to the universe. So, and that's why Venom at the end, he said, that guy, and he licked the screen, because Venom already had that hive mind knowledge. So, I think
Venom, is what you're saying. Venom does not change.
Venom is Venom across all universes.
Therefore,
Carnage,
Doctor Strange can't make him not
Carnage,
exist.
Venom, all of the symbiotes have
are
the
together.
same hive mind because they came from the same person.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he implanted that into Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy was the vessel that got transferred over the multiverse. I think that just that little bit of venom, I don't know how exactly he got to stay, but if anything was going to stay, it would be that symbiote.
I'd say, knowing that now, that just the hive mentality can go across universes.
Yes. No, it
breaks reality.
That Venom had sort of like a spider sense recognition that he's about to go, so he let a little bit of himself out.
Because he probably sensed that Strange was doing that, so
Yeah.
it's like, I gotta let... But that means we'll also get that same...
Excuse me, Peter Tingle.
same...
Yeah, you'll get the same...
It's the same Venom.
It's still
the
him.
same Venom
But-
from the Venom movies with Spider-Man now.
Not only that, all of the symbiotes have the same knowledge. They have all the same memories. They have everything in them is the same,
Yep.
but they treat it differently. They have different personalities.
But the
Yeah.
question
So
is...
that is the same Venom from Tom Hardy, but it also recognizes all of the Spider-Men.
But the question is, how did the Venom in Tom Holland's universe know that that's Peter Parker? Was it watching a TV wherever it was kept, or...
Yeah, the TV where they were in Mexico,
Yeah.
they were sitting on the bed. He's like, all right, I'm going to show you a little bit of knowledge from the hive mind. And then it transferred him into, assuming he got to show him a little bit of either Spider-Man 2 or 3. So
Which Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire or
Okay.
Andrew Garfield. And then he had the knowledge that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And he saw him on the screen. So he doesn't know it's Tom Holland Peter Parker. He just knows that's Spider-Man.
Okay, that adds up, yeah.
So,
Well, if they're all the Hive and all the Venoms could connect, that means Venom from Spider-Man 3 knows
Yes.
that is this not the same Venom, but it's also another hive mind version of Venom
Yes.
with Tom Hardy that is being left in the Tom Holland universe of Spider-Man movies.
gosh, my
So
head's
therefore,
starting to
that's why he knows. That's how he found out Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Is that original Venom from Spider-Man 3,
Exactly.
who was with Sandman
There we
and
go.
James Franco New Goblin. So it connects. That's how all the Spider-Man movies are now connected.
yeah. Not to mention, there's probably tons and tons of more universes where there's a symbiote that knows Spider-Man.
And at some
Or
point,
that is Spider-Man.
yeah, there is the universe where Venom stayed with Peter Parker
Yeah.
at some point,
Yeah.
and stayed at that Spider-Man 3 if he just kept it, kept the black suit.
Yeah.
But have we mentioned that nobody will remember Tom Holland now as Spider-Man?
We haven't even brought that up.
That's like the next. That was the next part, I guess,
Yeah.
is that Doctor
He has
Strange
no one?
did the spell at the very end of the top of the Statue of Liberty, which they cleaned. It's not green anymore. It's back to copper.
Well, they were rebuilding.
And the Hawkeye show does take place after No Way Home because it is a finished product in Hawkeye. The shield is already up there with no scaffolding because Yelena wanted to go see it, and she said, "Oh, they redone the Statue of Liberty." That's what she said to Kate Bishop in the last episode.
That's right.
So therefore, they
Did
explained
she say that they're redoing it, or they have redone it?
they have redone it, and they said so. Therefore, it's basically confirmed that now Hawkeye takes place after this movie.
So Hawkeye doesn't know Spider-Man either.
Nobody. Well, they know Spider-Man, but they don't know Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Parker doesn't exist
But Spider-Man
through the spell, but Spider-Man was still a part of the Avengers. They all know because that's what J. Jonah Jameson said. He said, "This menace Spider-Man, and he's a coward for not showing his face."
Yeah.
But nobody knows Peter Parker. Not happy. Aunt May's dead.
It was also, I don't know if y'all caught it. So when he started out in the movie and he first reported on Spider-Man, he was like in his
the
basement.
green screen.
And with the green screen.
And then he got like his big production.
And then after the like at the end, he was
Yeah.
back in there.
He
with,
was
like,
back in his old news office
Yes.
area. Lot to unpack.
that's very funny.
It's
And I liked how he went to his little bitty apartment. And it's not the same as the Maguire apartment,
but it looks much like almost like it.
It's just that
it's a Spider-Man
satisfaction.
apartment.
But he
something
was
simple.
He was doing the same thing that Tobey Maguire was doing with the radio. So he got the police
Scanner.
Yeah.
scanner. That's when Venom attached himself to him.
Yeah.
In Tobey Maguire's, he was listening to the police scanner, fell asleep on his bed, and Venom crawled up on him.
Yep.
So that's what's probably going to
be.
happen in the next one, then the fourth Spider-Man.
Could be interesting.
Because since all this, they've ended a lot. They sent all those back. There's still a lot of questions. How is Michael Keaton in the Morbius movie?
Mm-hmm.
Is that in our universe? Did that take place during this? Because Michael Keaton and Morbius weren't in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that could have taken place during this movie somehow. And they just were
You could have an
off
Ant-Man and
somewhere.
the Wasp situation where at the very end, they're just gone.
Yeah.
And stuck inside.
Yeah, it's like Michael Keaton got there or something, or they crossed over somehow.
Because
Which is,
Michael Keaton does know who Spider-Man is.
yeah,
That's something to
but
keep in
now,
mind.
yeah, and now
But he had no the universe to be sent back to. He was from that.
he was from the main. What was I
But
gonna
now
say?
he's forgotten.
Now he doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
Yeah.
There's no recollection of Peter Parker ever.
Which
The only person who
raises-
knows who Peter Parker is Peter Parker.
Which raises the question, and that at the very end of that first Spider-Man movie, where he says, "If I knew who he was, he'd already be dead." What if that took place after all of this?
Where Vulture said it to the
Where he's
other
at the
prisoners.
prison, where he's at the prison. Well, technically, it's the same time. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. That's just nobody remembers him. So he wasn't lying when he said that. He really doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
I feel like he may have been protecting
The only
Peter's-
thing, if he said he was protecting, because if you're saying he actually said it, that would have happened over 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that movie came out, a lot happened.
That was before
And then
Endgame.
Thanos attacked, snapped, and then 5 years happened. Was Vulture blipped? We don't know. Like, if prisoners were blipped, did they just show back up in prison? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can understand what you're saying, but also, he could have been protecting him.
Well, the thing
That's
is,
what I was thinking.
Well, the thing is, like, everybody knows that Spider-Man exists. They knew, like, what he did before
Yeah.
the spell happened. Like, all this stuff before. Like, he said he's a menace. Menace from what? There's all these things that Spider-Man did do.
Yeah.
They just couldn't put a face behind it. So,
The only
It doesn't
thing
really
is
matter
if
that
Michael Keaton's Vulture is before or in between one of these movies. But that,
it really doesn't change anything.
it doesn't, I don't understand. I gotta watch the Morbius
It
movie.
does a lot.
We just don't know what
I also-
Morbius's place is.
Yeah.
When it just it's so
'Cause
like,
Morbius-
perplexing what,
yeah.
what this has done.
Because Morbius is now, because the multiverse is still a thing, of course.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange didn't just end the multiverse. He fixed our universe so all the others will be fine. And he made everybody forget who Peter Parker was in our universe.
I
I'm
honestly
wondering-
thought the multiverse was going to come crashing down in this movie, but it did not at all. He fixed it.
I'm wondering if that video that Mysterio leaked out, what happened in that case? Because he told the world
Spider-Man is...
Spider-Man is Peter Parker, but did he still tell the world that Spider-Man killed me, Mysterio?
Yeah, they still think Spider-Man's a villain because
Uh-huh.
of killing Mysterio, but they just cut out the Peter Parker
Oh, there's
part.
so many different things to think
I'm
about
also
now.
wondering who.
Because all the Spider-Man stuff stayed. It's just Peter Parker is not there.
I'm wondering who these people were that were coming through in the multiverse at the end were. 'Cause
One of
there
them
was
was Rhino.
We can
there
see
was
Rhino.
people there.
Yeah, there was people there. It was other.
I think
it
I
was
saw Craven too.
Was it?
That's something to look for when we watch it again.
Well, it was always rumored. Well, they also said that the director John Watts said if they would have let me do whatever and just made another Spider-Man movie instead of doing this, Craven would have been the villain.
Uh-huh.
And they really want Jason Momoa to be Craven
Oh, that'd be cool.
to make his Marvel
I
debut.
thought they already got. Michael Keaton talked to the actor that's going to play Craven in prison.
The bald guy.
No, that's Scorpion.
Is it Scorpion?
Yeah, he's got a scorpion tattoo on him.
Like,
I
oh,
feel
You
like
talking
they
about
already.
You talking about the guy from Breaking Bad? The actor?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I feel like they've already
The
confirmed
Hispanic-looking guy?
who's playing Craven.
Yeah.
I don't really know because I know Craven has long hair and a real long beard, but And Jason Momoa is like one of the perfect people to do that, you know, just to be Kraven the Hunter. But there's so, like, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Spider-Man has almost as many villains as Batman does.
Yeah.
You can make 100 different movies with a different villain every time. And now with relating it to Hawkeye, actually, that we'll talk about with the spoilers of it, Kingpin showed up at the last minute.
Yeah.
Kingpin's another Spider-Man villain. We have, so it opens up the next trilogy. Kingpin, Venom.
Oh, it's Aaron Taylor Johnson, the original Quicksilver that got
He's
shot.
going to be Kraven, yeah. Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah.
Really?
The one from Age
How
of
are they
Ultron.
going to explain that? Because, you know, they've been fixing all this multiversal type stuff with different actors and things.
Well, the thing is that because it still makes me mad that they brought in X-Men Quicksilver in WandaVision and did nothing with him.
Yeah.
I think it was just like a...
It was a Kevin Feige pull on you, like, I got you. But
yeah, Kingpin
and Venom and Kraven. That's the next big ones. And Vulture's still alive. Mysterio is quote unquote alive. We don't know.
And then the Scorpion guy.
Morbius.
And Morbius and then Scorpion, if that's that guy in prison, yeah, then it's Scorpion is there too. Which Scorpion probably be like a side villain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it'll be like Vulture and Scorpion, you know, because therefore now there's so many of them, they can get another Sinister Six. That's what this kind of was, but Doc Ock was a good guy. Or he made him a good guy after he put
Which
that
is interesting.
chip.
It's interesting that they did that. I had a feeling, because in the trailers they show him getting shot out by Electro out at the side of the building.
Yeah, I can't, because that was a lie. It's like,
You shouldn't have shown that, Sony.
yeah. And
that was a little bit much.
For a split second, when they were fighting all the enemies by the statue, I really thought Daredevil was going to show up. I was like, if they get down,
I was thinking that too.
because they got Strange, the 3 Spider-Man, and Daredevil to fight basically the Sinister Six.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to mention is just like the Marissa Tomei Aunt May in the first 2 movies didn't really have any like
Background.
inspirational moments. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she was just Aunt
She had
May.
it in this movie.
She had that moment of
This was
Hey.
her Uncle Ben moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
She had that moment with Peter of just like some realization and some perspective. And it was also really cool that Tom Holland Peter got his big realization from Peter Parker and Peter Parker.
Yeah, it's because it's like, and whenever he that Aunt May was dead, and he was like, "Don't act like you know what I've been through," and the other two were like, "Oh," and then you can hear people in the crowd like, "Oh no," because it's like Toby lost Uncle Ben, and Andrew lost Gwen, which
And they've all lost
they've
their
all
parents.
all their parents are gone. All their
They've all
Uncle
lost
Ben,
Uncle Ben.
all of Uncle Ben is gone. Andrew's Gwen died.
Yeah.
Toby is married to his MJ, basically. I mean,
and his best friend tried to kill him.
True.
Yeah.
And it's like Tom Holland hasn't had that best friend moment because both Andrew and Toby had the new Goblin moment.
He's got no one now.
Yeah. The only reason is if
way home.
yeah, there's no way home. That's what it is that there was no way back to being normal. And that's why everybody has to forget Peter Parker ever existed. And Spider-Man is back to being his friendly neighborhood Spider-Man with no Peter Parker. So Peter Parker's just a nobody. But Spider-Man's still an Avenger. He'll be in the next Avengers movie because they said they are currently planning the next Avengers movie. They said they pretty much got who the heroes are going to be. And it's going to be like Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, all the others, a lot of the newer ones. You got to get Thor back in there and Banner and all them.
The Sorcerer Supreme, Ned.
Yeah, well, they don't have that anymore. Hopefully. Forget who Peter
yeah.
Parker.
Still remember that though.
Well, yeah, because they weren't directly related to Peter Parker being Spider-Man.
Yeah. But it's so weird to
But do
think.
they
It's like, how do
remember-
they remember? Do they remember the battle, but they don't remember Peter Parker?
Oh,
Because
that's
she had the Band-Aid cut, but
Yeah.
he didn't. He should have said, "How'd you get it?" And that would have answered the question, you know. Like, and if she said, "Oh, I got it from falling" or something, like, how far did Doctor Strange make him forget?
Yeah.
Because Strange don't even remember him, which would be surprising if Strange doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Peter
Strange
Parker
can just hop in another reality and be like, oh, that's Peter Parker. And then
Yeah, because like the Strange, he doesn't have the hive mind like Venom and the symbiotes
I
do.
think he
but he's
had to forget them so that the multiverse wouldn't cave in. Like
Yeah.
it was
Literally
was
everyone.
Strange had to forget.
Everyone had to forget.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, even Nick Fury doesn't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man at this
Oh.
point. No one knows who
Nobody.
he is.
He is literally a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He's Batman. Like, the only person who knew who Batman was Alfred, that he was
the
Bruce
worst
Wayne.
part of all that is he's going to tell people that he fought Thanos and nobody's going to believe him.
Yeah.
That's got to be. Ugh.
But now he's just got to act.
Well, no.
yeah.
Because people knew Well, I'm guessing the way this works, people knew Spider-Man was at the battle. They just don't know Peter Parker.
Peter
is.
Parker is just a normal, everyday dude.
Yeah.
And, well, now he can go work for the Daily Bugle.
Would he want to do that? Well,
He still needs a job. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that does add up. He's got to pay the rent. for
it
the
matches
guy.
up with the Toby line. And that suit is slick.
It's classic,
No,
man. It's
that's
just
so
classic.
cool.
It's so good.
I want to see it in the light though. We only got to see it.
Yeah, he's like, let me
in the dark.
swing in and it was Christmas time, so it was right at Hawkeye, because Hawkeye's in Christmas, so it's the same timeline, but it's right at
So did
Spider-Man.
Hawkeye begin like right after?
Yeah.
Yelena wanted to see the statue
See,
at Christmas,
And it
so
was- and then
maybe it was the scaffolding still there, and Yelena ain't gonna be able to go see it next week.
but well, if they go see it, and the shield's on the ground or something, which they got Kingpin to worry about now, the big guy.
I wonder if
Did Kingpin have any part of this? Like behind the scenes? Because that's what Kingpin does. Kingpin stays behind other people.
I doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, that was a
Kingpin is a super strong mafia boss.
Yeah.
It's all he is, and he's so. Which I honestly, there was a rumor that they were going to make him fat, like in Into the Spider-Verse.
They should have done it. I don't know how.
But it's the same guy from the Daredevil show.
They should have put his
Therefore,
head in the middle of his torso.
Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin are in the same universe now with us.
Yeah.
So therefore, Daredevil could show up in the Hawkeye show
He could.
next week
Yeah.
because Kingpin's there.
I wonder what next week's show will be. If that's the finale, I'm sure it's got something.
It's got to have Matt Murdock
What's
in it.
weird
Something.
is, they have to put some kind of nods toward the movie that just came out, but they can't just do any kind of big spoilers for Spider-Man. So
The only
what's
thing
their
they would have to
limit?
do is they'd have to preface before, don't watch this episode unless you've seen Spider-Man. Because remember, they did that for that trailer of Far From Home after Endgame.
I doubt they would directly mention it.
I don't think they would do that on a TV show. Like, it was just a trailer when they did that.
Yeah.
I
Because
doubt
it
they would
hardly-
be like, oh, Spider-Man knocked down the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be like, oh, Yelena's passing by the statue.
What
and
they're
the
gonna
shield's
do-
falling.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, that's strange.
What's going to happen is
Doctor.
if they show Matt Murdock next week, all the people that has watched Spider-Man is sitting there with their family that has not.
And they're like,
And you're like, you're really excited about this for some reason.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't talk about this
I
right
can't
now.
talk about it
You
right
need to
now.
hurry up and watch Spider-Man.
But it's... Which, I mean, they can do that and also be like just a little nod of... oh, did you hear about the big Spider-Man fight that happened last week? And be like, yeah, I wonder who that guy is. Like that kind of dialogue going back and
I wonder
forth,
who those guys were.
Yeah, it's like, huh. Because there's no way they forgot that they showed up, because they only forgot Peter Parker. Therefore, somehow, it's very confusing to think, it's like, do they remember Doc Ock and all them?
Gosh.
Did they remember the green elf showing up? Like, where does the line drawn of what they forgot?
It is just mind-boggling.
And what exactly is the line? Like,
And it only gets more confusing because the next movie is in May, and it's freaking Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
yeah, our minds are about to be just... Ugh.
Oh.
And they brought in, like you said, from the What If series.
Evil Doctor Strange.
John called that one, didn't you?
Yep.
He did. All they had to do was make him wear all black, put some makeup on, and make his goatee longer. And that's Evil Doctor Strange.
But I will say, I only thought that because Wanda has motive to be a villain, and the only one strong enough to defeat Wanda would be...
Supreme Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Evil. Is it evil? What? I don't know.
He becomes
Supreme.
supreme after he become evil.
Yeah.
Because it was evil, but then he kind of become good at the end of the What If show. So it's like Supreme is him after he got all those after he ate all those other interdimensional aliens.
Alpha Strange.
Yeah. So
They showed that same monster,
the one with the eyeball.
the tentacle monster.
Yeah. So it's like, but like you said, it's like he was good at the end of What If. Because he had to take, he was holding the golf ball size reality, whatever, that had Arnim Zola constantly fighting Killmonger with the Ultron suits. Because they were both wanted all the stones and everything, you know, to rule the multiverse.
Yeah.
So he's having to guard that, but now he is apparently in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
So it's Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch against evil Doctor Strange. So, and then that other guy,
there might be that.
what was his name? The guy who was with Doctor Strange, who wore green.
Mordu.
Mordu? Is that his name?
Right.
It starts with the M, but it's not Morbius. It's something else. But he was in it because you saw him in the trailer.
With Doctor Strange.
Mordu.
In the first
That's
one.
not right. Mordu is the bear from Brave.
The black guy?
Yeah. What was his name?
Oh, I forget his name. He was supposed to be a villain.
Baron Mordo.
He was taking
Mordo.
powers from people.
Mordo. Remember, he was in the first one, and it portrayed him as like, oh, he's going to be the next villain.
Yeah.
But then now he's here with long hair.
I didn't even see him in the trailer.
He was in it.
He
yeah.
had the dreadlocks.
Yeah. Which they won't put that on YouTube for another few weeks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. People are putting things everywhere. I'm
True.
sure
It's on Twitter
already.
already.
I'm sure it's all on YouTube.
But understanding that, like they said, this was Spider-Man Endgame, and it leads up to that Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
So, after all that, honestly, I feel like it's honestly at this point, it's like, we can't really say anymore because we just don't know what to say. We've said we've said our predictions for what's next. What's the
wow.
Yeah, like it's just wow because
insanely good movie too. Just the quality of the movie is just fantastic.
it's
Like the pacing and everything. It was
The
just
way-
a spot on movie.
the way they can, like Disney as a company itself. People don't like Disney, but they know what they're doing.
Very
With
much
Marvel.
so.
Imagine if, like I said before, imagine if Marvel and Sony agreed to not show the villains beforehand. Imagine. And then you watch that bridge scene and Doc Ock's arms come out. And then you hear Willem Dafoe laughing. I would have crapped my pants.
I would have been on the floor having a seizure.
Everybody would have been like, whoa! You know, like everybody cheered.
Around every single turn, you would literally be shitting yourself. Because
Yeah.
I mean,
a villain from a previous
You
unit,
think
you'd be
about
like,
it.
which one's coming next?
Yeah, because you had Doc Ock and Goblin just start out, which
You
are two of the
think about
big
it.
ones.
I mean, you say that, but there were still a lot of really good surprises. Like, I
Yeah.
was not expecting Aunt May to die.
Yeah.
I really, honestly wasn't expecting either of the Spider-Man to show up just because they were going to be spiteful about it because they're big companies. And then there was all these other things that I just honestly shocked about. So,
I didn't realize they have that much screen time. They had a good bit of screen
I
time.
would have thought it was a cameo, but they were literally like
they're in the movie.
part actors there.
And
Because they,
I think Sony did it right. I think they did the right thing, the way they went about it. Honestly,
I think it might be one of the best Marvel Cinematic Universe movies.
it's up there.
just one of the best Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like not even MCU, because this
Well, you
is
can't
literally
count out Blade.
true. I can't count out Blade Trinity,
Yeah.
the best of the Blade movies. Blade
And
the
the
third
Eric
one.
Bana Hulk movie.
Oh, yeah.
True. Yes.
Yes.
You know.
Hold up. If we're going into this, we also got to consider X-Men: The Final Stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
The greatest movie.
Look, we all know the greatest scene was in X-Men Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever.
when they're fighting on the
Finally
nuclear
got you to
tower.
shut up.
Yeah.
And Deadpool uses his laser beams.
Yeah, and Deadpool uses laser beams, and he's got full katanas coming out of his arms now. And
I
he's
think the
no mouth.
I think the best Marvel movie is the very, very, very old Captain America movie.
No, yeah, the best thing they ever did was the old Hulk series.
Oh, yes.
From like the 90s, from the 80s or
Oh,
whatever.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
used to watch that all
With
the time.
Lou
Hey.
Ferrigno as the Hulk.
Hey, it's all canon now.
Well, yeah,
There's a
because well, as
multiverse.
soon as they introduced the multiverse, literally anything and everything is canon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we're canon in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
I'll bet eventually, once technology catches up to it, I'm talking like real world stuff here, they're going to introduce like the actual world into this. I don't know how they're going to implement
Like
that.
our world.
Yeah. I don't know how in the world they're going to do that, but Disney does some crazy things, man.
I mean, they already have TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
They're just going to
There's-
straight up be like, yeah, this is here.
this is Earth, whatever Earth we are, whatever number we
They're going to
are.
assign us a number, and
Yeah.
we're going to have to stick to it.
This is Earth 69. No, I don't know.
420.
Both of them. This is Earth 69, 420. So, really, after all that, I only got one question. It's a two-parter, kind of. For 2022, looking into the future, that's over, but it's not when you think about it. What movie out of next year's lineup would y'all say is your most anticipated MCU movie? I can pull up the list. So, next year,
Off the top of my head, I just think Love and Thunder is going to be an insane movie.
that's the
too.
one after Doctor Strange.
And then, is the Ant-Man movie coming out next year?
No, that's 2023. Quantum Mania.
Yeah.
What about the
Got
Guardians
Kang.
of the Galaxy?
That's way down the road.
next year, I think. So,
That's
the
like-
4 movies coming out in 2022, I guess it's 3 because they pushed this back. In May would be Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, then Thor Love and Thunder, then Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then the Marvels.
I have no clue about the Black Panther movie. I don't know what
Probably going to be
direction
his
it's gonna
sister. They said they won't recast him.
go. I know they're not going to
Yeah,
recast him, but I don't know what kind of direction they're going to go. And
It's
how,
going to be
how
sad.
tied into
It's
everything.
going to be sad because I think they're definitely going to have him have a funeral scene.
Yeah.
They're going to have to kill him off.
Yeah.
That T'Challa is
Don't know how they'll do it, but
dead.
his sister
They'll
will
do
probably be Black
Cheery.
Panther.
They'll bring
Yeah.
him justice.
It's because so many people was like, oh yeah, let's get Killmonger to be the next Black Panther. But
You can't.
you saw how he acted in What If. You can't do that, you know?
He's also like legitimately dead,
Yeah, that's the thing, is like,
which I guess that doesn't matter at all now.
no.
Well, he's supposed to die. So
It's his
if
fate.
It's after Multiverse of Madness, it doesn't matter.
no, I mean like in every universe he is supposed to die.
He was-
just like Tony Stark.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of those absolutes.
It's his
Yeah.
fate.
Just
like how
Doctor
Strange
Strange's
said.
girlfriend, she's always supposed to die.
Yeah, and that's why he turned evil and he ripped apart his own universe to that little
Did
platform.
notice that his girlfriend was in that trailer for a brief second at the
Yeah.
end of the movie. I don't know if you noticed that, Todd.
And she was wearing a wedding
She was
gown.
wearing-
Yeah, well, yeah, they were getting married at one point. Well, it's because it's, I think it's a callback because it's like
They
maybe
never get married though.
No, it was still girlfriend, and then they always wrecked on that dark
Yep.
highway.
I don't
but-
know what exactly is going on there. But for next year, I'd say Thor Love and Thunder just because Thor just gets better and better.
Also, because I mean, since it's the multiverse, and we already know this, and it's confirmed that Jane Foster is Lady Thor in Thor: Love and Thunder,
Yeah.
and she carries Mjolnir. Don't know how she has that because in our universe it was destroyed by Hela. So, unless it swaps, like in their universe, Jane Foster assumed the role of Thor or
Yeah.
something because she's
Well,
Lady Thor.
There is like leaked photos of the set, and at
Yeah.
the beginning of, I'm guessing it's at the beginning of the movie, there's a pedestal of where the Earth was that had Mjolnir. I've seen pictures of that. I don't know if either of you know what I'm talking about.
No.
They had like a little amphitheater looking thing. They like dug out around where Mjolnir's pieces were and left that as like a middle pedestal in the middle of a big theater. You should look up that picture.
Interesting.
Because, they released it on purpose. There's a reason it's out there.
Yeah.
Everything has intention.
I think I might be excited for Multiverse of Madness.
I'm just saying both. Because we don't know much about Black Panther Wakanda Forever right now. And the Marvels.
I'm really excited about some Blade though.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
not even joking. Like I love Blade.
you look forward to the future of like John Watts, the director of these 3 Spider-Man movies, said that after this movie, he's now putting all full force into the Fantastic Four movie. Because he's directing it, and he's going to do it. And then they also said about the building. They haven't showed the building. Nobody knows who owns Stark Tower now, because Osborn said he doesn't own it. So Oscorp isn't in this universe.
Out of the picture.
And the Avengers are gone, so it's either Kingpin owns it, or it's the official Baxter building, which is the Fantastic Four's tower.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which that also puts out a great point. Osborn couldn't find Oscorp, like it didn't exist.
So Norman Osborn does not
But
exist
you look
in
in
this
the
universe.
Morbius trailer, Oscorp is in there.
It's the Andrew Garfield Oscorp too.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And he says, I am Venom.
And Vulture's there.
And Vulture from Tom Holland, Venom from the Venom movies, and Andrew Garfield's Oscorp.
And then the poster of Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire.
What? How do they all coexist?
Something's messed up.
Something
messed up.
going
Like,
on there.
even though everybody forgot who Peter Parker is, the multiverse is still effed. Like, fully, because of What If. And I honestly did think that, like, if you, there's probably an Easter egg back in the background that the Watcher might be in the background of the sky. Because I didn't even look for him. I was too busy paying attention to Strange and all the other, and Rhino and all
this
them.
crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, so it's like the Watcher, if you look in like a corner, maybe he's just like looking, maybe. But, because they probably would get the guy who actually played him, you know. Oh, you didn't see Eternals. He doesn't know the end trailer.
That's supposed to be kept a secret on the Toddcast. I did not watch the Eternals movie. I want to make that known right now. I'll watch it when it comes out.
Do you want me to tell you the end credit scene or no?
It's not a big deal.
Okay,
I still think it was Michelle Ali talking.
Mahershala.
it is him.
Oh.
Yeah. So at the end,
Give me some exposition.
I've already said it on here too. So at the end of Eternals, a lot of crap happens and that would be way too confusing and take way too long for me to explain, because with no knowledge of what actually happens, it would be pointless.
Yeah.
So at the end, basically, the Eternals are broke up, and they were some of them were
like
taken,
a band, like the Beatles,
like the Avengers. So they had to. Some left to go in space to go find some others, and others were taken away by the Red Celestial, who I forgot his name. Harisham.
Okay.
They were taken away because he runs the Eternals, basically.
Okay.
He made them or whatever, you know.
with you so far.
So at the very end, Jon Snow, Jon Snow is
He's
in the
the
movie.
human,
He's,
isn't he?
Yes, he is not actually on the team, but he dated one of the Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
So at the very end, Cersei, that's her name. The one with Richard
Angelina
Madden.
Jolie.
No, Cersei is the Asian woman who dated and had the sex scene with Richard Madden, who was Robb Stark.
Okay.
So Jon Snow, because his real name's Kit Harington, but I'm forever calling Jon Snow from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So Jon Snow at the very end said he also had a bad past, and he had a sword that was, what was it called? The Dark Sword?
Ebony Blade.
Ebony Blade. He used to be a vampire hunter. Not him. His family used to be a vampire hunter. His uncle used to be a vampire hunter.
Relationship with his uncle.
And his uncle was the holder of the Ebony Blade.
Yes.
But he was the Black Knight.
Yes.
Which is what Jon Snow turns into, the Black Knight. That's his MCU character, his superhero character.
Yeah.
It shows that in the Eternals?
No, he opens a long box that has the sword in it, and he was going to touch it, and the sword has something in it, not like Venom symbiote, but something similar that was trying to go towards his finger. And then somebody from the background who you don't see said,
You sure you want to do that?
You sure you want to do that? And it was and then it was confirmed by the director that it was Blade talking to him.
But on the box of the sword, it says in Latin, "Death is my reward," and so basically the sword is like an anti-Mjolnir. So
it's the darkest at heart.
Yeah, it channels all of your darkest, deep down, all of your evil. Pulls that out, makes you super aggressive, And the death is my reward could have two meanings. It could mean me dying could release me from the torment of the sword, or me killing people is rewarding.
Jon Snow's gonna be a bad guy?
No. The sword will make him a bad guy, but the thing is, they've said that he's supposed to take, like how Spider-Man took Stark's part, kinda. Black Knight's kind of be in the Captain America position.
Oh, really?
That he's supposed to go in a bunch of more movies and series after this. And I think he's going to have his own series. I think they'll announce more maybe then later in this year, another week or two.
But that sword was made...
It was vampire hunters.
To kill vampires.
And Blade's a vampire.
Blade wants that sword.
He's a daywalker. So, I don't know... Because like you said, how Cap was only able to pick up Mjolnir after he became pure of telling Tony his parents that he knew about that, you know. It's the opposite. So, like, the baddest people in the Marvel Universe can pick up the Ebony Blade. So that's what happens there. So that's how Blade was introduced.
Okay.
So his voice was introduced, but you don't see him.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when the director, Chloe Zhao, said, yes, that was Mahershala Ali. His Blade said that. So, with all that being said, Multiverse of Madness, Hawkeye ends soon, Book of Boba Fett, we got Star Wars turning in now. I mean, season 3 of Mandalorian's almost done filming, so...
I want to see some Obi-Wan.
Comes out next year.
There's supposed to be a commercial really soon.
It's going to be so good.
True. They might do the commercial, like, the day of Book of Boba Fett or something. Have you seen... real quick, have you seen like the pictures, the screen art, what they call it, where they make the art and then
Concept art?
the concept art? Because there is a concept art that Kenobi will fight Darth Vader again during the show,
I mean, that's a real possibility.
Yeah.
and that Kenobi can. There's a lot of stuff Kenobi can do.
Yeah.
Because it was many years. It's like 30 years in between episode 3 and 4. So
He's got a lot of graying to do.
yeah, and Luke has to become a man at some point as well. So is there anything else y'all want to say about Marvel Spider-Man?
That was a fantastic movie.
It was great.
But
Through and through.
if you listen to the past hour of these spoilers and you still haven't seen Spider-Man, I don't understand what you're doing. Really.
You've had an hour to at least buy tickets.
Yeah, we've explained Hawkeye, Eternals, and Spider-Man to you.
Yep.
So I don't know how many times y'all probably gonna see it again.
I don't even want to think of an end of how many times I'm going to watch this movie.
You're gonna watch it every time you get
I'm gonna have
until
an
Doctor
alarm.
Strange.
I'm going to have an alarm on my phone that's just specifically to watch.
Go watch Spider-Man.
Go watch Spider-Man today.
And it'll probably be on Disney Plus, I'm guessing, like April, right before the next Doctor Strange movie comes out.
I hope so.
Because if COVID's still, like if it gets harder or whatever, you know, new variants or anything, you know, and more stuff's getting shut down, they'll release it on Disney Plus
Man,
earlier.
I'm just impressed at how much emotion they brought to this movie. I mean, there was a little bit in both of the last movies, but it was a heart-wrenching movie in a good way.
Freaking Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm still like, even though it was rumored for months, more than that.
There were everybody was still doubting.
Yeah.
How did they do that? How did they do that publicly? How did they put that idea in our head that, hey, they still could not be in this movie, but they could be in this movie?
Masterful marketing.
It's just beautiful
Marvel's
marketing.
so good at this. They're so good.
I don't understand how they even managed to pull that off.
Wow.
How many psychologists did they talk to?
With that, I think that's going to do it. From the three of us, thank both of y'all for being here.
Yes, sir.
This was John, your 6th time. Jaren, your 11th time. Jaren, I'll see you soon on 112. This was episode 102. If you believe it or not, Jaren, the first time we did one of these was 100 weeks ago.
Jeez.
John, you were on episode 8, was your first. And that was a long time ago. This was January of 2020 when we first did one of these. John, you were, I think, in like the end of February, beginning of March.
Is 2 years, isn't it? 52 weeks? 104?
Yeah, it's 52 weeks
Take
of
any
that,
breaks?
but I think one of them's like a leap year or something. I didn't take any breaks. It's one a week. The anniversary is January 11th. Was the first day the first episode came out, which is only 30 minutes long, and now this one's about 2 hours. So, but I think we had this was our own multiverse crossing moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the first ever episode with more than one guest.
It was my first time actually meeting John.
Yeah, Jaron and John, believe it or not, have never met each other. They've only known each other from us talking about the other one and from Snapchat group
Yeah.
and listening to me. Like, that's the only ways. And this was the first time they've ever met each other.
See, we both came together because we both knew Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in Spider-Man.
I was the Ned who opened the portals. So
I think you're Peter Parker 1.
me, I'm
Which
Peter
one of
1.
us is
Y'all can
3?
fight for Peter 2 or 3.
I'll be 3 because I'm amazing.
Well said.
I get
Well
that
said.
reference. So, but definitely not the last time all three of us are going to be on here.
No.
We'll have to do this again at least 1 to 2 times a year, because especially with this, I mean,
Yeah.
this is basically our Marvel roundtable talk.
It's good stuff.
So, with all of that,
Go watch the movie.
Go watch the movie. If you did not see the movie and you're still listening to us, why haven't you watched it yet? I've already said spoiler warning last week and like 20 times earlier.
Yeah.
So,
And if you've already seen it, go watch the movie.
go watch it again. Why aren't
This
you
is
still
for
listening?
everybody.
please
Literally
keep
everybody listening, go watch the movie
no,
right now.
please keep listening to me.
Oh yeah, listen, and then once this is done,
Once
watch
I
again.
say like and subscribe, not right now, but once I say it later, you can go watch the movie and it'll be fine. So, John, Jaron, it's been always a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Y'all will always be on again, because this never gets old. As much as I lose my voice every time I do one of these every single week, it never gets old for me. Love it every week.
But we do get old.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
Unfortunately.
feeling it. You feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
It's getting late.
That's for true. So, on that note, Jaron and John, anything y'all want to say to end this off?
I mean, watch the movie. That's all I got.
Go watch the movie. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us. Well said, John.
For together, y'all make up 17 guest episodes.
And John, it's nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet both of y'all as well. Which y'all didn't know, both of these guys were actually on every episode ever. You just never heard them.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
We're just back here.
Just that they were my background actors on an audio only podcast. That's how that works. So thank y'all for being here, and definitely we'll have both of y'all on individually and together again in the future.
After we go watch the movie.
Again and again and again and again.
Yes.
So
Did you say again? Did you? I think you missed it.
Oh, and again.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah. So
And
one
again.
and one more again. So thank y'all for being here,
Again.
and and thank y'all for listening. So.
Adios.
And I'll see y'all, and I'll not see y'all next week. Hopefully y'all will listen to me next week after this. So and again. So thank y'all, and that's it. So thank y'all for being here. As always, please rate and subscribe. And if you're listening on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell to get notified when new videos are uploaded. And make sure you follow the Toddcast only on Instagram at @the_Toddcast_ for all your Toddcast social media needs. Make sure you tell your friends and your family, or anybody really, to give it a listen. And thank all of you for listening to this episode. And if you want to know what's going to happen next week, well, I guess you're just going to have to tune in to find out. Only on the Toddcast.